Good evening, Terror Incognita here, alongside Thimo for round 16 of the SLR Championship. Sorry for the black screen. Now we don't have a black screen with a bit of luck. And welcome along to this broadcast of the SLR Championship on the Extreme Gaming League as per usual. I'm Terror Incognita, as I just said, and alongside me is Thimo. How you doing, Thimo?
I'm doing great. Today, it's time again for my weekly Why I Do Like the Track episode. And today we've got Russia, so I really like this track. Basically driving it because I like the flow of it. I know many people dislike it, but I think with the long straights and quick corners we could be up for a lot of racing action. So I think it will be interesting as always.
Yeah, I think that's right, and I think the fact that we have it on strict today, which we are, and we're also on strict tomorrow, by the way. So it's going to make life interesting. But the fact that we are on strict means that there's much less temptation to chop a couple of the corners off that you can do pretty easily on this racetrack. And it does. It means that it's actually a racetrack and not just sort of build your own adventure, which it often is in the past. So yeah, I think it'll be fun. I think it'll be a good race today. I'm looking forward to it a lot.
Yeah, so do I.
We've got the usual suspects, Sergios, who's looking to wrap up the championship pretty much. Probably only a couple of race wins away from doing that now. We've got Etni, of course, in the Sauber, as per usual. And we've got the usual supporting cast as well. ItzTriton, who had an excellent race in Singapore last week. And we're just waiting for the session to get underway, which it will do very shortly. I thought it was going to, but then it got cancelled, so I don't quite know what happened.
Fascinating.
So a little bit of a delay. Apologies for that. Again, a black screen as I just tab out of the game. Sorry about that.
Yep.
But yeah, let us know in chat if everything's okay. I think everything's okay and stream-wise.
It should be.
And we got a few people watching, so thank you for joining us. I'm just waiting for people to sort themselves out. So we do have Ocean and Tipsy Bob both racing today, which is always good to see. Tipsy back in the McLaren, Ocean in his usual Renault. Let's go Tipsy Bob, indeed. Let's go Tipsy Bob.
That's the best attitude. So, I'm a bit croaky, so I don't want to...
That's okay.
About the sense. Oh! We've got ourselves a full
wow,
wet session.
Look at
that. Looks like heavy rain.
It is, yeah, monsoon conditions. So, yeah, we got some rain. That'll make things interesting. That might favour a couple of drivers. Speedy's very good in the rain. He might benefit from that. Yeah.
Honestly, I don't know about about who out of the two top championship runners is better in the rain. I think we've seen one showing of them wheel to wheel, and by saying we've seen, I mean I have seen because I couldn't upload it because my recording wouldn't start. So yeah, Silverstone was pretty exciting, believe me. Yeah, so there they went wheel to wheel for not even over exaggerating, 21 laps, and in the end it ended with Etni doing a pretty poor move on Sergio's misbraking and banging to his side pod, spinning himself out, Vettel style. So that's the only comparison we have got between those two in the rain, and there they were pretty even, so we might be up for a little surprise.
Well, it is full wet qualifying, but it is a dry race, so we're not going to see any duels like that in the race today, but we are going to see who can nail a perfect lap in very difficult conditions, as Rivos gets it all wrong in turn 3. Having a moment. Yeah, turn 3, which is normally not a corner on this racetrack, is absolutely terrifying in the wet. So we're going to see the drivers negotiate that. Here become lots of right-handers. Let's actually go on board. We got this these little right-handers. This is what I meant about the strict corner cutting settings, because all of that on the inside there is concrete. So there's absolutely no grass or anything like that. So you can cut it as much as you like. Well, not as much as you like on regular, but you can certainly cut it. But on strict, you absolutely cannot. So
Yes.
it makes it a little bit better, I think, for both the viewers and for the drivers that want to respect the track limits.
Yeah. Also, we've got ourselves 3 substitute drivers. So Shazam, who has only recently joined SLR as a reserve driver, is already giving his debut for Ferrari in the seat of that Buns, who can't attend today, unfortunately. Also, we've got ourselves... oh, never mind. Oh, Hartzer is in. And
Hartzer is in.
Slash LP is in for Briggy. Yeah. On
that sounds right.
On a message I received for it, the teams and seats were swapped around, so I was a bit confused. But everything is fine.
So here is Triton, who it says is not on an outlap, but he's certainly not on a fast lap right now. He's
Yes.
cruising around, so we'll see who's on a quick one. Speedy's likely to be on a quick. Speedy's on a quick one. Is he about to finish his lap, or is he about to start one? Looks like he's about to start one.
Yes, his CRS is full.
So we'll go on board with Speedy through the first. Is the first corner flat? It probably is, right? Yeah, it is.
Yeah,
even in the wet. So all the way through, and then you brake, what, just about the 150 meter mark. Get it slowed down, 4th gear only. Gets it out of turn 2. Don't think he got an invalidation for that. He was right on the edge of getting one, but I don't think he did quite. Oh, sideways through turn 3, look at that. Gets it all the way over to the left-hand side of the track, and then hits the apex of turn 4. Runs a little bit wide on the exit of 4, but does manage to keep his foot in it anyway. Gets his turn in for 5, and yeah, that was very nicely done through there. He's going to be on the run down to 6 and then 7 here. Oh, he could have chopped a little bit more off 7 there. He ran very wide, but seems like he got away with it. 8, he missed the apex. Etney puts in the fastest lap of the session, 46.5. So that's the marker that everyone has to beat. And Shazam goes second with his first SLR qualifying lap, 49.9. He will want to improve on that, I'm sure. And now the back straight, the DRS straight.
Jason plants his car right in the middle of these times.
Yep.
1.5 seconds to Etney and Shazam. Rivers not really having a good lap. Pretty much everyone is really struggling, and Etney edges out Sergios in their first respective...
Yep. In their first laps by a full second between those two, so a large gap between the two of them.
Yes.
We're going to see Speedy come across the line now. And this is not a fast lap for Speedy. He's run a bit wide there on the exit, and he goes P6, just 1/1000th of a second behind his teammate Hugo's on a 49.1. So I'm going to assume that was a sighter lap for Speedy, and he seems to be still on a fast one now.
So I might need a re-invite, because I just had an error, lost connection to Steam, even though I'm clearly connected.
So apologies for the black screen, folks. I'm going to try and invite Thimo again.
Wow.
There he is.
Thanks, Codemasters.
I can't invite. I'm going to have to ask Ocean to invite.
Yeah. Okay. I can do that. You can go back
if possible. There we go. All right.
Or, okay. That's fine as well. Thanks. Wow. Okay. That came as a bit of a surprise.
So that's the situation. Now, who was that going into? That was Speedy going into the wall. I think I don't know. He hit the wall pretty hard there. He might have hurt his wing. But seems to be all right for the time being. So that's the situation right now. So Etney 46.5, and a Sergios 47.5, and Jason a further 0.4 back on a 47.9. And there's a big gap to Slash LP and a bunch of cars in the 49s. So it's those 3 drivers really who have managed to get the best out of their car so far. Copy goes 4th.
For the championship, it honestly looks a bit dire for Etney, because Sergios is really far up ahead, even though Etni managed to cut 10 points off the lead Sergius had before the last round in Singapore. 10 points, that is, because Triton has regained P2 as we have predicted, because the penalty was obviously pointless.
Yeah.
So at this point, it is still the way that if Sergius finishes second, or I think even third every race, and Etni wins every race, then still Sergius will be crowned the first ever SLR champion. So Etni will probably have to. Yeah, Etni will probably have to hope that Sergius gets into lots of trouble over the rest of the season. Otherwise, it will not really look too good for him.
I think that's right. Yeah, and Sergio's going to need to make mistakes now to lose the championship. And he's made some mistakes before, but he's tended to recover from them. So it needs to be something quite extraordinary, I think, for Etni to win the championship. Even though he is pretty consistently the fastest car out there, as he goes fastest again on a 45.7 from Etni, a full second faster than El Sergios's newest fast lap, which is P2 right now. And he's actually 2.2 seconds ahead of Jason in third place, so a real show being put on by these two right now, Etni and Sergios. Sergios comes into the pit lane.
It is 54 points difference between the top two guys.
Okay, so 2 full race wins and then 4 more points as well. You get 25 for a win. So lots of... There's what, 6 races to go, including this one? Is that right? I think that's
so,
right.
Yeah, it should be 6. So, what did I say? 54.
54. So yeah. So he can't finish third every race, but he can finish second every race.
Yes, exactly. So that is good to know.
Okay. So Ocean should be giving you an invite as soon as he can.
Ah, he did.
There we go. All right.
Didn't see it. For the Constructors' Championship, by the way, things are still looking like they could change. At the moment, Sauber has the edge over Mercedes and then Haas, then a big gap to to Ferrari, Renault, etc., etc. The gap at the front is 37 points between Sauber and Mercedes, so that is less than a 1-2 finish. But will a 1-2 finish happen? I will doubt it.
Well, we've only got one Mercedes in this race. Sergios is the only Mercedes driver, and Copy and Etni are both fast drivers, obviously. So that could be an interesting battle. We'll keep an eye on that as the race unfolds.
Other battles that could be interesting in the greater image are the battle for P4 in the championship. Bands. Copy currently sitting at 93 points and Bands at 92. So 1 point separating those two. Then if we go further down the order, we've got the P6 between Yugos, who is sixth with 68 points, and Anonymous with 62 points. And then we've got Triton and Tipsy even on P8 with 54 points. So there are a lot of things that can change down the order. I think Speedy is pretty safe in P3, and I honestly also don't think he will catch up to either Etni and Sergios, so he will probably be P3 in the end. But behind and ahead of him, there's still things that could change in over the rest of the season.
Yeah, so. Absolutely. So, yeah, good stuff. There's lots to play for. And, I mean, a 54-point gap is a lot of points at the front of the Drivers' Championship, but just one bad result for Sergios, and that whole thing changes, that whole equation changes.
Yes. I get a bit of Vietnam real life. With Etni being on pace, if not sometimes faster than Sergios, but in the end Sergios has put up the more consistent drives and now has a pretty good gap.
Yeah, I think that's right. And there was the early part of the season as well where Sergios was very fast and Etni wasn't quite up to speed at that point, so Sergios was able to build a lead there. As Jason crosses the line, he does improve on his time. He does a 47.6, but it was obviously an invalid 47.6 because it didn't count for the standings. We haven't been given any screen time to yet. Anonymous in the Renault. He has the rev bug, unfortunately, so I'm not gonna stay with his car much, but we'll watch him finish out the end of this lap. He goes through the very twisty final section, the left-right chicane. And there it is. He didn't chop too much off the right-hander, but should still be fine. Gets it turned in for the penultimate corner, and then the final corner. You just got to be so patient, especially in the wet, with that corner. Anonymous goes 4th on a 47.6. A very nice lap from Anonymous. Displaces Tipsy Bob, who was in that position. But still, almost 2 seconds behind our pole sitter right now, who is Etney in the Sauber. Etney about to start a lap. We might stay on board with Etney for this lap just to see exactly how he does it. 5 minutes of the session left to go, so this will be his final run at least. He might do multiple laps in the run, but really struggling on traction out of the last corner. Did just about get the power down though. Through turn 1 he goes, in towards turn 2. Are you back in the game, Thimo?
Yes, I am.
Fantastic. Alright, good work.
Thanks to Ocean Chief, of course, because he had to go into the postman here too. Probably not the biggest sacrifice in qualifying, but thanks anyway.
You can see how patient he was through turn 4 there. Etney didn't slide too much at all, just having to keep sort of 2/3 throttle or thereabouts. He gets it turned in there, short shifting to 4th.
So, reading the chat, I honestly don't get what Ocean Chief tried to tell us with the standings. I don't know. Should we?
Yeah, I was expecting there to be a link there, but I don't think there was, so I don't know.
Yeah, I've got the link. I could post it in. Does anyone?
Yeah, that might be good. That might be good. Just to get the standings in chat. That's a good idea.
Okay, I can't edit them, so I'm safe to post them, so no one can. I mean,
there'll be no sabotage.
It would be pretty fair to put Cursed into the first position of the standings after his effort. Also, Milos Matic has posted.
He's first in our hearts, if not necessarily first in the actual standings.
Yes. He's most excited about his... And I tend to agree, it's really sometimes pretty exciting.
So Etney crosses the line, and he does not improve. He does a 46.5, but he's got some more laps to do just yet, so we'll see what else is happening on the racetrack. Tipsy Bob is out there, and in fact he has, well, he's halfway around, well, it looks like an out lap to me.
The currently leader in points, also just in first with, let me have a look, 277 points, which is 50 points ahead of Etney, who has got 233, except for the potential case that I can't count. That could have happened. I don't know. Oh, I actually can't count. Wait a second. Wow, I think it's 44. Wow, it is 44. How bad am I?
No, it's 44. Okay, so that's quite a bit closer.
Sorry.
That's alright. Oh, as Anonymous hits the wall on the exit of whatever turn that is, the third to last corner. And that will be the end of his qualifying session. That's the end of his front wing. And he has to pit instead.
I'm in university, by the way.
By the way, your mic sensitivity, I think, could do with lowering slightly. You're cutting out very occasionally for me, and therefore also for the stream.
Okay, then I'm probably just talking too quiet or something like that. Okay. Normally it's fine.
Okay.
So with 44 points to the end, it is a bit of a different one. You get an you get an advantage of 8 points if you win the race.
It's 7, right?
No, wait, 7. It's 7. Yeah, it's 7. Wow.
So 7. Really so 7 times 6 is 42, which is less than 44. So Etney will have to hope, even if he wins every race, that Sergios, in at least one race, does not finish second.
Exactly. which could very well happen. But
Yep,
therefore
it certainly could.
we would need an absolute.
Tipsy's going to cross the line here. This is a good lap from Tipsy Bob. He's going to cross the line and he has a 47.567. Stays in P5, just barely behind Anonymous. He's going to have one more go at displacing Anonymous. In the meantime, Sergios is out, and I'm wondering if Sergios is even going to get to do a lap here because he's about halfway around. Yeah, I guess he's probably okay. He's just on the back straight now. He looks like he's timed it reasonably well as Tipsy Bob.
Yeah, that should be just fine. Tipsy with a really good effort.
Retire, yeah, fantastic qualifying session for him. So Sergios, I think, is going to have to give himself a little bit more breathing room than he has right now. We're going to stay on board at least for a little bit with Sergios. I'm going to keep my eyes very firmly on the standings to see if anything changes. A couple of drivers haven't done a lap yet. Ocean Chief, Jesse and Michael. None of those have managed to get themselves an actual lap in. So there is Sergios about to start his lap. He's behind a Red Bull, and the Red Bull is /LP, who goes P6 with that lap. So a good effort from /LP, substitute today, of course. As, in fact, he's abandoning this lap, so he's going to let Sergios past as they go into turn 1. And Sergios does get it slowed down and tries to get as much traction as he can on the way out through the long left-hander. We'll see how he handles it, and yeah, just sort of feathering throttle, gets a little bit of a moment as well.
I haven't actually paid attention. Was it intermediate? Oh!
No, it's full wet.
Okay.
Oh, is this...
He's on intermediates.
He is on intermediates, isn't he? Wow. There's several drivers on intermediates, so I don't know if this is faster. I suspect it might be, if it's been drying out a little bit.
Connection to Steam.
If it's in light rain conditions, oh dear.
Angry smiley.
Oh, you're going to have to ping Ocean again then. I would do it now if I were you, because he's finished qualifying. As Sergios goes into this right-hander now. Don't know if it's faster. It does look like there's a little bit more grip, though, to be honest, for Sergios, who is about a second behind Etni in the standings.
Sorry. I suppose Ocean has opened the stream because he instantly invited me after I said it.
Good work.
Nice.
So we're going to get Thimo back in. And hopefully his connection to Steam stays okay for the race.
Yeah, I've never had that issue.
So we've got Speedy has gone up to P4. He's still on full wets. But Sergios, yeah, this is way faster. This is way faster. Sergios is going to be on pole by a long way here. He's going to cross the line, and he does a 44.5, which is the fastest lap of the session. Michael goes P3 on the Inters as well, on a 45.8. Danny Coe as well doing a really good lap on the Inters, a 47.4. And, well, a little bit of a topsy-turvy grid then. We got Michael up in P3, only just behind Etni, as we see at the end of the session. Yeah. The AI crashing. So yeah, Sergios on pole.
Exactly. Really good effort by him. I was already about to say that this is probably... this lap has been a really good statement by Etni. He is still capable of winning, potentially, because, yeah, he has to start his run winning every single and this was a pretty good point to start it all. But now, after the conditions have changed, he obviously was left out by, I don't know, fortune, strategy, whatever. And therefore, Sergios manages to get the better of him by 1.2 seconds. So,
yep,
this will be really interesting. I think with a dry race...
I mean, the thing is, he's still on the front row of the grid, so he won't have much to do. But he might have to pass Sergios either on track or in the pits, which could be a big deal. It might be tricky.
Passing Sergios is
he doesn't like to make it easy.
Never going under a category of easy things to.
Yeah, absolutely. So there we go. We're going to load ourselves in, and it is time. It's SRL round number 16.
SLR.
And SLR, thank you. And it is time for the race. So there we go. We have a dry Russia for this one. And we have a grid that is going to be interesting. We got Sergios, the championship leader, on pole. We have Etni, the favourite for this race, in P2. And it is going to be a duel at the front, I would suspect, between those two. And we have Michael, who got it in P3 right at the end of the session there on those intermediate tyres. So we're going to keep an eye on what people are doing on tyres. People having different ideas about what is fastest in terms of tyre choice. That is interesting. We've got most of the field. Yeah, we got most of the field on Hypersofts, including our leader, including our pole sitter El Sergios, and we have some cars deciding to start on the Ultras, including Etni, including Copy and Danny Co on the third row of the grid, and Slash LP, Hartza and Shazam. I assume, I'm pretty sure it's just a one-stop race, so Hypers to Ultras does work, but I assume, I think, I'm not absolutely sure about that. It might be Supers for the second stint, but I assume that Etni going with the Ultras just to try and mix things up a little bit, and maybe if he does that, he doesn't have to pass Sergios on track. He can do it through strategy instead, but we will see.
The Sochi Autodrome is obviously a track that is pretty infamous for not wearing tires at all, pretty much. I mean, there's tire wear, but it's really minimal.
Yeah.
It's like, for example, in real life, we had that one race some years ago, I think it was 2014 or 16, where Nico Rosberg crashed on the first lap, lost his front wing, went to the pits and just put on a new set of tires and just drove them to the end, all the way, all the 54, 55, I don't know, up around that amount of laps. Yeah. He just drove them on one set of tires.
Yeah, and that was before the very durable Pirelli tyres that we've seen over the last couple of years. Typically had to stop a couple of times back then, so
yes.
Yeah, it was quite notable, and that's why we got the Hypersoft tyres here. When you really get them on circuits where there isn't much tyre wear, and this is certainly one of those, as the cars come around to form up the grid. And this is going to be a fun one, I think. It's going to be... We do have Kirst at the back of the grid. He did manage to get himself in.
Wait, long.
So he is the other Mercedes today, alongside Sergio. So we got Mercedes at either end of the grid.
Yeah.
And
it's P1 in the standings and P1 in the standings of a hard sandwich.
So here we go. Is there a better camera than this one? Yeah, there is. There we go. 5 lights. And away we go. Who got the better start between Etni and Sergios? Sergios got a very good start as Speedy gets into the back of Etni by the looks of it. A little light lag as Sergios covers the inside, and there's a crash in the back. There's an enormous crash in the back. We'll sort that out in a second. As Sergios gets himself in front, Speedy alongside in P2 as well. He's going to be side by side, and he's going to have the inside for turn 3 as they go around the long sweeping corner into the right-hander. Michael dives up the inside of Copy as well, gets himself P4, but Etni has gone all the way down to 3rd place.
Wow, sorry for being completely chilled out, but that looked like an absolute Michael Bay directed turn 1. Honestly, there was cars
who
flying
died
around,
there?
Kirst
died, Wimpy died.
Painful encounter with the wall. Shazam is slow on the track. I don't know why. Rivas is really far behind without a front wing.
Rivas has no front wing at all.
Also, Kirst got a penalty for the collision with Wimpy, so probably maybe Wimpy got round and Kirst ran into him, so the speed difference was pretty high and the game just thought Kirst intentionally drove into him, or how iRacing would say it, a 4x for him.
That is a 4x for the two of them, but Jason manages to get himself in front of Copy. Copy going backwards on those ultra soft tyres, and Anonymous having a good look as well around the outside of the sweeping left-hander. Hearts are passing Tipsy Bob as well for P10. Tipsy on those Hypers. Still side by side, those two. So in the end, Tipsy has to give way. Oh, he dives up the inside into the right-hander. Nicely done by Tipsy Bob. Beautiful move.
But was that maybe already track extension?
Yep, I think he likely got a warning for it.
Yeah. The game is really harsh on that. And Strict, I think it's a bit obnoxious with putting 2 tires off, which is completely fine by the official FIA rule. It gives you a warning.
Yeah.
I don't think that should be in the game, but it is. We can change that, and it's probably better than everyone just not getting penalized at all for.
Yeah, speeding penalty
across.
for Rivos, who didn't have a front wing, so couldn't get it slowed down. And yeah, it's the
That's a
inconsistency
car
as much
wide.
as...
It's Yugos. Tips running a bit wide. Tip about it. He wants to get the better of Slash LP. I got a bit of lag, so I don't know what happened. Okay, everything's fine again. Tipsy just lagged for me.
Yeah, Tipsy definitely had some lag. His screen froze there as we got a battle here for P4. Michael trying to fend off Jason. They both run a little bit wide there on the exit of the left-hander into the right-hander now before the DRS straight. Still no DRS, of course. It's only lap 2.
Yes.
So Michael getting himself a little bit of a gap.
Slash LP and Tipsy Bob running side by side onto the back straight, which isn't really a straight. I mean, there's little kinks on the straight, so...
Triton in there as well. Oh, this is...
3 wide or 4 wide.
This is all sorts of fun and games here, isn't it?
Entirely. Tipsy going round, going really wide, and Triton, I think, having some contact on the inside, which eventually leads to Harzer taking his position, and Tipsy goes down the inside of Slash LP here. Oh, and he slides round!
Oh, what a crash! Wow.
But I don't think there's been damage. I didn't see any end plate throwing off. Denico getting pushed to the wall a bit, and Tipsy Bob getting a 3-second time penalty for multiple warnings. It will really be a pain to keep track of all of these, because they will definitely mess up the party. Jason getting past Michael, meanwhile on the main straight.
Oh, Michael back up the inside into turn 1. Wow.
With a late counter move. Where's Michael? Did he go off track? No, they are still side by side.
I think he cut. Yeah, I think he cut turn 3, so I think he'll have got a warning for that. As Tipsy gets himself a big penalty for corner cutting.
Ah, that's frustrating. And Michael, in the end, staying ahead of Jason, probably.
Oh, Tipsy! Yeah. What happened to Tipsy? Something happened to Tipsy. He's all the way down in P17.
Yeah.
So he is. Yeah, something happened on the outside, I think, of turn 3 or the inside of turn 2.
It looks like he has understeer.
Yeah, he's got big damage. He's missing end plates, so he's struggling.
Yes.
Speedy gets himself a penalty for cutting the left-hander by the looks of it. So 3 seconds for him
as
well.
Really fast,
oh, Anonymous! What happened to Anonymous?
The Renault is round. He's dropping down into P15 temporarily, and as Shazam even comes round,
and he definitely has damage. Definitely has damage. So
yes, of course.
You can see the right front end plate there.
Yeah, the right.
Yeah.
There's really something missing, a major part.
So Anonymous, something happened there that turned him around. We didn't see exactly what. It was either contact or just a spin.
Jason and Michael are still battling it out. Sorry to interrupt you. Jason just had a little look down the inside of the beginning of Sector 3, now getting a better run out of the third to last corner. Not quite making the pass. El Sergios, meanwhile, powering away on the...
and Jason hits the back of Michael there. Pushed him a little bit wide, and I don't know whether he got damage there. He hit him pretty hard. Seems like he might be alright, but there was definite major contact there. Yeah, Michael, I think, will have DRS.
Yes, Michael will have DRS, and Speedy and Etney are fighting it out. Etney goes on turn 2, that was. Yeah, turn 2.
Yeah.
And he was ahead temporarily. Yugas also fighting with Copy, so both Alphas and Hases fighting each other respectively. Yugas down the inside along the long turn 3. And now it will come down to turn 4. Copy still on the inside. Yugos tries to swing it around the outside, gets pushed off track a bit. Maybe that's a warning. I think that might go to Copy. Yeah, Copy just takes the position.
Oh, and Hugo's not giving it up down the inside. And yeah, I think he's got him. He's got him.
Yes, he is.
So Hugo's gets it done.
Battling. That's why I like the track.
Hugo's on the hyper soft tires, getting it done there. There's a big battle up here though. This is the DRS straight, I think, is it? And Etney with Speedy. Etney coming alongside. He's got DRS. Speedy hasn't, so he's going to be ahead before they get to the right-hander. Bunch more penalties go through at the bottom there. We'll keep an eye on those to see if there's anything substantial in there. But I think that is now Etney up into P2, at least temporarily. Speedy trying to get back alongside again. Not really able to do it. He is still alongside. Etney gives him room, though. Beautiful driving from the two of them. As Etney... Is he going to cover the inside? Yes, Speedy dives down the inside. Oh, wow.
That was scrappy. But now he has made the maneuver. Even though it was scrappy, he will get DRS.
Well, Etney will get DRS. So yeah, Etney's going to be ahead before they get to turn 1.
Yeah, probably. And Rivers retired. I can't spot it.
Right at the back anyway. Speedy again goes into the back of Etney into turn 1. As they continue to battle. This is allowing Sergios to get away, of course. 3 seconds now. 3.2 between Sergios and Etney up front. So, oh, Speedy again going very deep into the corner then, running very wide. Wonder if he'll have got a penalty for that. He's already got one, of course. And while behind them, we have Jason and Michael. I think Jason is pulling away very slightly from Michael now, and Speedy, I think, made a mistake in that last right-hander, so there's a little bit of a gap between him and Etney now for P2.
Yes, also, referring to Jet, yes, Sabu totally called the turn 1 accident. Pretty much jinxed it, lol.
Yeah, it's a difficult corner to get through at the best of times, yes. And yeah, when you've got all sorts of cars scrapping for position. And we've got a couple of cars that have gone onto the soft tyre, so Tipsy has gone onto the soft, so has Hartzer.
And Michael makes a move down the inside, will now be the outside on the back straight. He hangs it around the outside. Wheel banging going on between their cars. Jason now hangs it down the inside. No, he doesn't.
Backs out of that one, but Michael got scared off the apex. But does manage to keep the position. Jason having to stay behind for the time being, but he'll be quite happy behind here, because if you're behind through these two corners, you will get DRS.
Exactly.
As you come onto the start-finish straight. Yeah, it is. And it's a long straight, and we're going to see exactly how powerful now. He's in the toe. He has DRS open now, and he's just going to drive past Michael before they get to the corner.
And
he's probably even going to be able to take the line. He does.
Triton is now trying to get more Slipstream off copy. He brakes later, goes round the outside.
Very nice.
Wow, that was a close call, and it worked out just fine. Danico also fighting it out with the gloves and steering wheel. I don't think there's been a swap of positions, both running a bit wide on the second turn. So all sorts of battles across the field, which is really good to watch. Basically, for me, the rule is, or not the rule, but it seems like, looking at Monza and Sochi, the less the drivers like the track, the more action is going on, the better is it watching it. At least for me.
Yeah, absolutely.
Also, Singapore was great.
So up front, wonder if Speedy's in tyre trouble here. Wonder if he's having overheating issues, because he's dropped way off the back of Etney. He's 2.8 behind now. So a little bit of a struggle for Speedy on those hypersoft tyres. I wonder if he's going to be tempted to come into the pits quite soon. Yep. Heading down into the right-hander. Jason on the inside manages to cover that off. Michael looking just behind. I'm going to see, going to go on board with Michael here. Has a look to the inside of the left-hander, decides not to go for it though. Ooh, a little bit of Speedy!
We got ourselves Speedy crashed out.
Yeah.
Did he lose the front wing?
I don't know. His front wing looks fine, so I guess it was just a spin for Speedy, but we said he was struggling. He was falling off the back of Etney, and that was the result. So Speedy falls into this little melee, allows Jason to get away slightly, in fact, but Michael is now going to be very interested in that P4. Speedy has DRS as well, fortunately for him. But Michael's still alongside as they go into turn 1, and Michael gets the move done on the inside. And Speedy is going to have to cool those tyres down a little bit. Triton moving up as well, yeah. Triton having a look.
Yes. Yeah, he's having a look.
He's made his way all the way up.
Will he make a late move? A bit of a lock up.
It wasn't a great move though. He didn't really hold the corner. Hugo's did leave him room, and again he's on the inside here of the right-hander, so he gets that one done as well. And I think Copy's going to follow Triton through as well into P7, and he does. Yeah. So yeah, Triton has moved up 8 positions from his starting grid. So he started 14th, he's now 6th in this race. A great first stint for the Ferrari man. So once again we see Copy has DRS, so does Hugo's of course. This is a look to the inside, but backs out of that one. There's not really any point in him going into that one. Hugo's using a very high gear there. It's an interesting choice. 5th gear there, I guess just for traction around that left-hander.
Danico and gloves and steering wheel still fighting side by side. A bit of a tank slapper of oversteer. He just, yeah, in the end he forced his way through. I think it was fair enough. Yeah, for the Speedy incident you can only really say it's pretty easy to spin there just on your own, because obviously it goes uphill, and therefore your car loses downforce. You aren't glued to the ground as these high downforce cars are normally, so it's pretty easy to lose your car. And then Nico takes revenge on gloves and steering wheel, by the way.
Yep, down the inside. Oh, he runs wide though, so he'll gotten himself a warning for that. That was a corner cut on turn 3. But yeah, these two trading positions a lot. Trying to give them a little bit of airtime, but there are battles happening further up the field. Copy and Hugo's very close to each other as well. Hugo's on those hyper soft, Copy on the ultra softs.
Michael's still not yet letting go of Jason. They are still between a third of a second. You could absolutely throw a blanket over these cars. And up ahead, we see Etni still on the hunt for Sergios. It's 2 seconds between those two.
Yep.
And obviously with the tire advantage still being at Sergios' car.
Well, yeah, it's moving and towards Etni though. Or Triton up the inside of Speedy, and was Hugo's. That? And Hugo's, wow. So Speedy having a struggle. Well, Speedy's got Triton back here. He's done the switcheroo in the right-left and manages to stay ahead of Triton, at least for now. But again, there's a DRS zone coming. So Speedy dives into the pit. So Speedy's going to pit. Yes. Speedy's the first scheduled pit stop, which is, I mean, to some extent that's expected because he is quite harsh on tyres. He does like to slide quite a lot, the Speedy. But he's the first person to change tyres. I'm going to see what tyres he decides to go onto in this second stint. Is he going to go onto the soft tyres?
It's the
ultra soft. So I guess you can.
It's definitely doable.
Yeah.
18 laps on them.
Yeah, it looks like you can get to the end of the race on the ultras, which is, yeah, that does make sense because this track doesn't really wear the tyres at all.
Yeah. Why do the super? I mean, they must, but it tells a story if the super soft tires, if the super soft tire is too hard to be used and there's a steering wheel has gone off circuit. Upper back off. I think turn 4 that was.
Yeah.
So wait, turn 3 is the long. Is the really
long left-hander, yeah, and then turn 4 is the right-hander after it. So yeah, that's where he went off, and he's lost that P10 to Ocean Chief. So Ocean Chief taking his customary P10. He's going to get himself a point if he stays there.
Ocean Chief likes his points.
Yep, absolutely. As Jason and Michael still battling in the Force India and the Williams, and at the end of the DRS straight just there is going to be right on the back of him.
Etni's in DRS range of Sergios.
Oh, that is true. Does he have? He has DRS this time, so they're going to be very close through the back section. We'll keep an eye on that. And in the meantime, here's the battle for third. They both stay out as Kursk gets himself 3 seconds to tag on to his list of penalties. Hugo's as well gets himself 3 seconds, and Tipsy Bob, just to complete the picture, also gets himself 3 seconds of penalties.
I was honestly about to say, Speedy now, with his share of penalty. I was about to say that it's, 5 seconds for gloves and steering wheel for corner cutting. It's not as messy as I thought it would be, and now
I don't know. I think we're starting to see them now.
Of 7 penalties.
Oh my
7 drivers with penalties, and now the leaders are approaching Kursk. So let's see if there will be interesting tactics by Mercedes.
Gonna help out his teammate. He's gonna give him DRS here. So Sergios is gonna get DRS from his teammate, so it's gonna save him for at least 1 lap from Etni.
Interesting tactics by Mercedes.
So into the right-hander they go, but Etni is now all over the back. You can see from the onboard here, all over the back of Sergios here. We're on lap 10. We're getting to the point where Sergios is going to be thinking about making his pit stop. And in fact, he's going to do it this lap, is he? Yes, he is. Or is he? No, he's just going to let Etni pass.
He wants the DRS.
Oh, maybe.
Maybe. Cheeky little Illusion 100.
The issue is that he lacks so much grip out of that right-hander that I don't think he's going to be in range even with DRS.
Himself.
Yeah, maybe. I mean, Etni was going to pass him anyway, whatever happened. But yeah, I have a feeling that is the situation. So Etni is going to be faster. Yeah, Jason is the first of our, other than Speedy, the first of our front runners to pit. So he is going to put on those, what I assume are going to be the ultra soft tyres for the second half of the race. They are. And he is going to... Is this a glitch for me, or is he actually being held in the pits for a long time?
I think it might have been a glitch. He's driving out of pits, but still under tempo limit.
It was a long time.
With a penalty,
maybe he had a penalty. Maybe he had 5 seconds or something. Sergios Oh, Sergio, was that a 3 second, a regular 3 second for
Yes,
Sergio?
it was a regular 3 seconds for Sergio, still within the DRS window.
Yeah. Well, I imagine that's why he was pushing, because he wanted to keep DRS for as long as possible on Etney, but I don't think he's going to be able to stay with him for too much longer.
I still wonder why he did that. He probably thought his exit out of the last corner would be better. He's having a bit of a slide, or he just accepted that he's in the Mercedes at Russia and James called him or something like that. I don't know.
So.
And now he's actually diving into the pits. No smoke screens anymore.
Okay, so Sergios does pit from P2 as Copy goes up the inside of Hugo's. Copy now will have the better of those tyres. He's on the Ultras, Hugo's is on the Hypers. So end of lap 11, and the Hypers look like they're still good as Michael does pit, Triton also pits, so all of the Hyper runners now at the front. Triton with a penalty, oh dear. In fact, that will have been in the pit lane, so you can't cut you can't cut the pit lane, which is, I guess, is what Triton did. So a bunch of cars pitting onto the... Oh, Triton also has a penalty by the looks of it, unless that's glitched for me.
It is that penalty.
Yeah.
He just received.
Ocean Chief also... I think Ocean Chief fell foul to exactly the same thing that Triton did. So yeah, he gets himself 5 seconds too.
It's really messing with the correct order of cars.
Yeah, it is. So there's no cars on Hypersofts anymore, so all the Hypersoft runners are pitted, and all the Ultrasoft runners, of course, as Sergios runs a little bit wide in the... In fact, that was Speedy, in fact, not Sergios, running a little bit wide. Was that on track? Yeah, that was on track. So Slash LP obviously struggling to get the tyres warmed up. So Etney's got a lead of 24 seconds, and Sergios is going to have to try and hunt Copy down now in P2. Sauber's 1 and 2 right now, at least only temporarily, because both Etney and Copy will have to pit at some point in this race. But Sergios has got it all to do now. He's got to try and make up as much ground as he can on Etney, so that when Etney pits and puts on the Hypersoft tyres, remember, the fast tyres, Sergios is in front of him.
Also, just one thing I wanted to mention quickly. We're 13 laps into the race now, and the difference between Etney and Copy is now 25 seconds, and Copy is slow driver.
Yep.
Contender of being best of the race. So that means Etney still managed to get, on average, around 2 seconds per lap. That is
2 seconds a lap faster, yep, that's about right, and it is incredible. As Sergios, I think, is going to be trying to get past Copy here into turn 1. He's going to have DRS, he's going to have his battery turned up to max. He doesn't really have the straight line speed, he just about manages to get around the outside. Nicely done. Copy did eventually leave room. Jason does the fastest lap of the race.
Yeah, Copy will of course not have the grip on these worn tyres to sustain his position around the outside.
But that will have helped Etney, because Sergios did get held up there in the last couple of corners behind Copy, who is of course a lot slower than he is because of the tyre situation. Hugo's with a penalty. It's going to be a lot of penalties, folks. We'll try and keep across them as much as we can, but we're not really going to have any idea towards the end of the race of where people stand.
Tipsy are fighting out P16. I think they just switched positions for a few times, and Tipsy runs.
Tipsy
makes space for Etney.
Yeah, Etney passing as the two McLarens both just been lapped, unfortunately. So art imitating life here.
It's a pretty accurate McLaren depiction.
Yeah, exactly. As Hatzer and Shazam, as Shazam runs very wide there. Hatzer, I think, got past him on those soft tyres. So Hatzer trying to go to the end of the race on those tyres and doing a grand job at the moment, passing the ultra soft shod Shazam. Another one for Speedy. I think Speedy's got a few of them.
Yeah, it should be 6 seconds by now. So he will eventually... I mean, at the moment he is behind.
Oh my god, all sorts of sideways in the left-hander. Sorry, he's backing it into there. He's sliding all over the place.
Yeah, I also saw that. He is at the moment behind Jason if you go onto the timetable. Well, wait, does Jason have a penalty?
Yeah, we don't know. I think Jason has at least one, but I think Speedy has more than one and maybe more than two even. So
I think it should be 2.
We'll see how we'll see how it shakes out towards the end of the race. We might have you check if that's all right, Thimo, towards the end of the race. Not yet, because it's gonna change between now and the end of the race. But as we get to the crunch point of this race, it'll be useful to know who's got what penalties.
Exactly.
So we've not had one for a while, so drivers obviously learning their lesson to some extent with the strict corner cutting rules. It's so easy on pretty much every corner though to get a penalty or to get a warning.
It's not even trying to cut or extend. I've mentioned it multiple times over the course of the season. It's mostly just misjudging your turning point and then either going too tight over the curb or something like that, or just going too wide on the exit of
yeah,
and
absolutely.
That just messes up your time in the end because you lose these seconds to the penalties. But just putting off 2 wheels and a bit, I think like half of your car, and then it gives you a penalty. So it's pretty dangerous.
Yep, absolutely.
You have to be careful. You have to be alert on a autodrome circuit.
So up front, got 23 seconds now between Etney and Sergios. As who's that coming out of the pit lane? That's a McLaren of Tipsy Bob by the looks of it, being lapped by third place man Copy. So Tipsy Bob having a real struggle this race. It was a promising start for him, and he did a very good qualifying lap, but things have just gone south in the race for him, so not going to be any points by the looks of it for him today.
Oh, cursed. Okay.
What is Cursed doing?
Was just at the side of the road, really slow, and it looked like he retired. But he might be able to finish this race, so I mean, that's not the worst.
Yeah, what's going on with Cursed? Does he... okay. We'll keep an eye on that. He didn't get going out of that right-hander, so something obviously wrong there. As now we have the closest battle on track right now. Tipsy with another penalty, unfortunately. We have Speedy, Jason and Michael all running within a couple of seconds of each other for 6th, 7th and 8th, but not really anything that's wheel to wheel right now. We're waiting really for the for 4 of the top 5 runners. Sergios has already stopped, but the other 4, Etney, Copy, /LP and Danny, all have to make their pit stop, so that will happen, I would imagine, reasonably soon.
Ocean Chief
Cursed
just
retires.
got himself a penalty. Cursed retired.
Well, he made it, what, 14 laps or so, because he was 2 laps down. But, so, made it about half the way, which is further than he usually makes it, but still not quite.
Infant chat, please.
Yeah, get the Fs in chat out for Milos Martika.
And Ocean Chief makes an easy pass on Shazam on the start of the back straight. Not really much Shazam did about that, and I don't think he will try to get a counter move done. He got past airbag gloves and steering wheel a lap before, or 2 laps before, so Shazam really in trouble at the moment.
Yeah,
not really putting in good laps.
Yeah, he's on those 14-lap old tyres, trying to get to the point at which he can switch on to the ultra soft tyres. 22 seconds at the front now, so I think Sergios might just be in range of Etney at this point. There's 12 laps to go, and the hypers go somewhere between 10 and 12 laps, so Etney will be looking at pitting, I think, within the next couple of laps, but it's going to be close between himself and Sergios.
Something that has built up in the meantime, Danica with 3 seconds of penalties, of a penalty. Something that has built up in the meantime is Jason getting closer and closer to Speedy. So they are fighting over a potential podium position, and Jason is now in the DRS, but no, I think he just opened the DRS for the first time in this period of being behind Speedy.
So we saw this, didn't we, last time with Speedy in Singapore. I mean, Singapore is obviously an extreme track for tyre temperature troubles, but I wonder if Speedy is struggling once again with tyre temperatures here in Russia. It's the hypers and the ultras that tend to be the worst in terms of tyre temps, and we see Speedy's race pace is just not there. His qualifying pace was very good, and for the first couple of laps he was very fast. He got himself in front of Etney, but again just falls off a little bit.
3 out of the top 4.
3 seconds for Etney.
3 out of the top 4. Basically 3 of the guys we've been waiting for all the time have now finally come into the pits. It's Copy and /LP and Danico, and they are all rejoining ahead of Harzer. Ahead of Harzer, all still in the points paying position, so from 8th all the way down to 10th, all with points at the moment. So after that stretch stop. so Danico could actually get the first points for Toro Rosso in the standings.
Yep, absolutely. So their job now is to try and chase down the train of ultra soft cars. And these are two of them, Speedy and Jason. Speedy trying to defend, having to cover the inside, but again, this is just going to slow him down. As Jason will have DRS now on this next straight. Speedy covers the inside once more, Jason behind, but it's going to be a sitting duck here, Speedy.
Better run and Slipstream and DRS.
There's just absolutely no chance.
Pretty early. It will become the outside, but with the amount of speed he has got over Speedy. Oh, Speedy running really wide there. He might be able to claim it. Yes, he does. He gets himself up into P3, which is now actually P3, as Ethnic TRN is in the pits and he loses out to Sergios. He comes out behind him, and that is by a fair margin. Shazam with a penalty. Now Ethnic is back on track, and it is around 4 seconds, 3.6 at the moment.
Yeah, but is it enough for Sergios? Because now, of course, Etni is on the hypersoft tyres. We're going to see almost certainly on the next lap the fastest lap of the race by Etni on those fresh hypersoft tyres, and he is going to be hunting Sergios down for the lead of this race. There are 10 laps to go, including this one, and I don't know. I don't think that's enough for Sergios. I think he needed more than 4 seconds.
Yeah, really good effort by Etni on these, the worst tyres arguably on the first end.
Yeah.
Compared to the tyres Sergios was on, of course.
Meanwhile, this battle for third place between Jason and Speedy, we said they were holding each other up, and Michael is actually in range of Speedy now as well. Also on those ultra soft tyres. They are the same tyres. They're 3 laps newer in the case of Michael and Hugo's behind, and also Jason. Well, Jason 2 laps newer, but still slightly newer. But again, Speedy really struggling for pace on all of these tyres pretty much after the first few laps. So I'm gonna stick my neck out and say that it's probably tyre temperatures.
Yeah, if I'm not completely mistaken, and then it is equal distribution of penalties between Sergius and Etni, both with 1 penalty. That's giving them 3 seconds, so they shouldn't be worrying about them at the moment.
Okay, well, that's good to know. But in the meantime, we said the gap was 4 seconds. It's now 2.5 up front. So Etni is doing a Speedy, gets himself a penalty, another one.
Michael is really close to said Speedy.
Yeah.
Will Speedy get DRS of
he will.
Jason? Yeah, he will. So 2 DRS cars now behind Jason, hunting down the main straight. Will Michael have a look? He moves to the inside, but arguably not in range to do a maneuver, and slash OP with the fastest lap of the race.
Yep, he's on those hyper soft tyres, of course. And Etni, meanwhile, just eating into that gap. We're going to go on board, I think, with Etni here, and we'll see exactly what he can see. That is the Mercedes of Sergios up front, and Etni is hunting him down. 1.7 seconds is the gap between these two at this point in the race, as we see.
Michael
and Speedy
round the outside,
and
they
he's got him.
Okay, yeah,
nicely done. Well, temporarily, because they're coming up to the DRS zone, and I don't think Michael will have DRS on Jason here, so Speedy might be able to get back past. As only Speedy has DRS, so Speedy, I think, will be past Michael here. Will at least make it difficult for a couple of laps.
But Michael will cover off the inside of the next corner, and he breaks though pretty late. Etni with the called fastest lap of the race, and he's also already in DRS range. May it even be for this corner now?
Not for this corner, I don't think, but I think the back straight, it's pretty much a lock, or maybe even before the back straight, I don't know, a penalty for Triton. But again, that battling between Michael and Speedy, Hugo's is now only 3.5 seconds behind Speedy for that 5th place, so he's going to be catching him as well. Speedy really struggling with those tyres. As the 2 leaders go through the right-hander at turn 4, up towards turn 5. Sergios, you can see, trying his level best, but he's just not got the grip that Etni has in that Sauber on those fresh ultra soft tyres. You can see the difference in traction between the 2 cars as they go through the left-hander. Both running exactly the same line. Sergios trying to eke out as much as he can, just locking up a tiny bit as they go into the right-hander. Is it going to be enough? Etni doesn't have his battery being used at all, so he's not going to try this time. But
exactly.
surely it's only a matter of time.
Straight.
Yeah, absolutely.
I mean, this is arguably this straight. The back straight is easier to defend than the main straight, so he probably wants to be ahead after the main straight and not after the back straight.
Yep, that makes a lot of sense. And yeah, these traction zone as well here. You see Sergio's really struggling to get off the corner. And he having a little look up the inside, but no point in doing that. And now he goes into the final corner, and yeah, you can see there's absolutely no chance for Sergios to defend this, I'm afraid. Across the DRS detection they go. Etni will have DRS.
Make a bit of contact on the wheels, but everything fine.
And yeah, there goes Etni into the lead of this race.
Sergios locks up, carries it, yeah, cleanly avoiding him. So that was your pass for the lead.
Yeah.
And ItzTriton is in the meantime caught Hugos, I think.
And
he's
passed Hugos as well, because yeah, he was
exactly
behind him. So something happened there that we didn't see between ItzTriton and Hugos.
Yeah,
so ItzTriton,
I saw it, but
okay.
it was
what happened?
Simultaneously to Sergios and they were just fighting it out on the back straight, and ItzTriton went through.
Ah, nice. So ItzTriton gonna chase down Speedy now. Hugos did manage to, yeah, he cut turn 2 there, so got himself his final warning for that particular 3-second penalty. You get 3 warnings before you get one, and that was obviously his third. As we see with the helicopter cam, ItzTriton going through turn 5. He is chasing down Speedy. He's catching him very quickly as well. 1.7 is the gap between himself and the Haas in front of him. And there he is. That's what it looks like. ItzTriton, all sorts of pushing now. Ocean gets himself a penalty as he continues to battle with Hartzer for P12. You can see he's gaining all the time now. 1.2 between Speedy and ItzTriton. And just all sorts of drop off for Speedy on those tyres. I imagine he is going to be able to get to the end of the race, but it's a real struggle for him. I think this time ItzTriton's going to have DRS down the main straight.
He might.
So Jason and Michael continue to pull away from Speedy. And catching as well is Hugos, who's 2 seconds behind ItzTriton. ItzTriton will have DRS, but he's probably not close enough this time to have a look into turn 1.
Ocean Chief also just fighting it out with Hartzer, going off track after the back straight. He is obviously on battle fast and out while
3 seconds
with
for
the
Sergios.
next penalty. He will really lose out.
Wow. Yeah. So that's at least 4 for Speedy.
Yeah.
So
Ocean Chief will have another try on the main straight.
Speedy's going to be struggling to score points here. He's going to be all the way down. He's probably going to be behind /LP at the end of this race.
Ahead of
down
Danico,
in P9. Yeah, probably ahead of Danico. But even Danico, I mean, because he's going to be fast on those hypers. And, I mean, it's just going to be a struggle for him. ItzTriton now all over the back of Speedy. Through the left-hander. Speedy, you can see, struggling so much into the right-hander. It's a little bit wide there. ItzTriton got a better line, and I don't think there's anything Speedy's going to be able to do here down the back straight. ItzTriton pulls to the inside of the right-hander, and yeah, gets it done very, very easily as they go into the braking zone. Even is able to take the line away from Speedy into the right-hander. Oh, and a little bit of lag there as the two cars.
Yes. Yeah, Speedy was literally inside.
Yeah, just for a second. I guess ItzTriton had a screen freeze or something.
Speedy, I think he ran a bit over-ambitious through the last 2 turns he ran through.
Yeah.
Because he was having oversteer on both of them. So not getting a counter move or even a counter attempt done. And now ItzTriton is just cleanly pulling away from Speedy, and Speedy might even fall victim to his own teammate, Hugos, in P7. He might possibly let him go because of penalty to not...
Oh, and again, just struggling so much in turn 1 there, Speedy, to get it turned in. He will have got a warning for that, for, cutting the inside of turn 2. But it's this self-perpetuating cycle of no grip means you slide more, which means that your tyres overheat more, which means you have even less grip, which means you slide more, etc., etc.
Yeah, it's pulling you down if you're not getting out.
Yeah, absolutely. Speedy certainly in that death spiral right now. As Hugos homes in even on the back of his teammate for that P6.
And also, the amounts of understeer cause penalties for two reasons, because you tried to turn in earlier and then you run across the curb. No, I can definitely agree. If you understeer all the time, you turn in earlier. It's getting worse and worse. So there he might get penalized because he's putting two tires off track, and we've got ourselves a spin in Michael. Michael is down into P8 now. He gets his car straight again. He has lost out and is in P8 now. He just spun in his own, I think.
Yep,
probably on traction. Down to P8. So he's almost done a Monza move.
Yeah, so he throws away that P4. Unfortunately for Michael, he was in a podium position at Monza, of course, and he was 4th here.
Oh, Tipsy Bob.
Tipsy runs very wide there to let...
onto the grass to get lapped there.
Yep, to let Michael through. So that releases Triton into P4, Speedy into P5, at least on track. Don't think he's actually in P5 because of the number of penalties he's got. But Hugo's now all over the back of him. Up front, I think the race is done. Unfortunately for Sergios, I think he has to concede this one to Etni, who has driven a fantastic race as usual, as Hugos gets a little bit of oversteer on the exit of turn 4. Gets away with it. Oh, look at Speedy struggling so much.
And we've lost Tipsy Bob.
Oh dear. So Tipsy, I imagine that was frustration from Tipsy's perspective. He was right at the back. Multiple laps down, I think, at this point, and deciding to pull the plug on his race.
Yeah.
So this is going to be fun. This battle for 5th down the end of this straight. Speedy has Hugo's behind him. Hugo's pulling to the left, and Copy is lurking as well on those hyper soft tires. So Copy is going to be very much faster.
Makes the move. Copy almost.
Speedy runs into the back of him.
Wow.
They just about got away with it. Yeah, good save from Hugos. He got a little bit of oversteer, I think, there because Speedy hit the back of him, but managed to save it. Yeah, Speedy struggling, obviously, with front tyres. So I wonder if Speedy is going to be able to fend off Copy here. Copy on those hyper soft tyres. Speedy will have DRS on Hugos, so they've got that going for him.
Yeah, you could literally, from onboard perspective, I could literally sparkle in Copy's eyes. He wanted to make a dive there.
Yeah.
Or not a dive, rather swing around the outside, and now he hasn't got a good run onto the main straight, but he can brake so much later. It's incredible. And now through turn 3, the traction he will have will be far superior. Triton also getting closer and closer to Jason, by the way, but it will not be enough as the race is will come to an end in 3 laps.
Penalties might come into play there because I've not seen many penalties, if any, for Triton, and I've certainly seen one for Jason. So it might be that Triton gets himself another podium here as Jesse gets himself disqualified, unfortunately. Oh, and Speedy makes a mistake. A mistake in the right-hander. Copy all over the back of the Haas now. As they come into the right-hander, Speedy has lost DRS on Hugos, so Copy now is going to be able to pass, I am pretty sure, down this straight. Nothing really Speedy can do. He covers the inside, but Copy's just going to drive past him.
How much will Speedy try to hold on to this? Will he accept his fate? No, he won't. He makes a late. He had no corner rights there, to be completely fair. I'm pretty glad Copy didn't spin, but he got a really good run around the corner, out of the corner, and they are still fighting side by side. Scrappy battle, lots of touches between those two. I think. Oh no! Triton gets himself a penalty.
That could
might
be a big deal.
have just been the podium position.
Yeah,
that's the way from him. I think Jason has got one, and now Triton.
Oh, into the wall goes Speedy! Goes Copy! Oh no! On the exit of the final corner, he just tried so hard to get the power down, and well, you can see him there. He's lost a bunch of his front wing, and he's trying to get it turned around. He's not really succeeding either. He doesn't want to reverse into traffic, is the issue.
He might even get a point because Graveson's steering was really far back, but now Copy has really lost even more time. Not getting
Copy
the car. So
having a struggle. In the meantime, Speedy and Michael now battling. Michael is right on the back of Speedy /LP there as well. /LP on the hypers.
Oh, and Michael!
My goodness, that was close. Copy retires. So DNF for Copy, unfortunately. A very costly mistake for him. He gets himself a penalty. That's not going to matter even slightly. Yeah.
Doesn't steering wheel also over at the back of him.
So now once again, Speedy and Michael on the inside.
They make contact there. Speedy gets forced wide, even off track, and Gloves and Steering Wheel will try to maybe make it.
It's slash LP. Oh my gosh.
Between those, wow. He just risked getting sandwiched big time, but he didn't in the end. Now he will try to keep the momentum around the outside, but he won't. He will rather be attacked by Speedy.
Well, I think
to hold his own.
That was very risky from slash LP as Speedy has a look up the inside. He's going to have a better run through this right-hander maybe, but no, slash LP gets the traction down. He's going to be able to pull away, I would imagine, on those hyper soft tyres just from pure traction in these final 2 corners. So Speedy, it's been such a struggle for him today. He's lacked so much race pace with those tyres, and well, it's going to be P8 at the very least. I think it might even be P9 because I think he's got enough penalties that he might fall behind Danico as well.
Also, according to the chat, we now know that Cursed retired because it was like in his just saw no point.
Well, that's unfortunate for Curse. Maybe next week he can get himself a little bit more competitive and get himself, if not into the points, then at least with a respectable showing in this race. Speedy just having so much struggle in this race. He is just obviously overdriving the car at this point.
Ethnic TRN wins in Russia. He's been trading blows with Sergius for all of the seasons. Does a stylish finish, giving me a little heart attack. Thank you.
Yep. So Etney wins, Sergio second, Jason. Well, we think he's going to come home P3, but I don't know about the penalty situation. It might be that Triton behind him is in that P3 instead. Michael and slash LP very close on the racetrack as well. So we'll keep an eye on the standings to see what the penalty situation is, as Hugos just blinks out just for a second there, but he's definitely back. So Jason crosses the line, Triton then crosses the line in P4, and Triton had a bunch of penalties apparently.
Oh wow.
Because he's dropped a long way behind Jason.
Didn't he have his 5 seconds?
Ah, maybe, yeah, maybe that's why.
But in the end, spoiled his body.
So there we go, Speedy crosses the line. I think he's going to be overtaken here by Danico. Yep, he is, unfortunately. So Speedy's going to finish P9 in this race after such a promising start. He's fallen all the way down with those, what I assume are tyre temperature troubles. We'll hopefully get that confirmed towards the end of this broadcast. But he, in that 3rd place in the championship, only gets himself 2 points today. Gloves and Steering Wheel gets the final point. Ocean Chief, unfortunately for him, not going to get himself any points today. In fact, he's going to fall even behind Hartza into 12th place as well. So that is the race, folks. Well done to Etney. He has taken 7 more points out of Sergios. So now the gap 37 between those two with 5 races to go. There is the Sauber driver getting himself his trophy. And the standings are there, so you can see all of the penalties. Jason had no penalties at all. So I was obviously wrong when I said that I'd seen one for Jason.
Wait.
I did not see any for Jason, and Triton had 4. My goodness.
I think we Mandela affected ourselves.
Maybe.
Because I was pretty sure that Jason had at least 1.
Yeah.
I was almost certain.
So driver of the day. Who's our driver of the day?
So I'm currently thinking about 3 names personally, and 2 of them have already been driver of the day to a point. And the first one is pretty obvious, like last race. It's Etney, because he has made a really good run, not as dominant as last race, but he has really gone all out on his arguably faster, slower tire set of ultra softs, and he's really made a great effort and kept and held on to Sergios to then just easily go past him on the hypersoft compound and driven a pretty controlled race. So Etney is in my pool of possible drivers of the day. Then we've got Jason, because he was having a good battle with Michael, a clean battle with Michael. He managed to be the only driver out of the top runners to not get himself any penalty, which is really, it's a good job.
Yep.
On a strict on Russia, in Sergios and Sergius and Etney each got themselves 2 penalties, so he did a really great job there. And yeah, nothing negative to say about his race, getting a deserved podium. And then the third name is Triton, because he started really far back. I think it was P14, and he was arguably the fastest car of the field apart from Etney and Sergius. Really slicing his way through the field order.
Yeah.
And getting position for position, we're each in pretty clean overtaking maneuvers. So he's also on my list, but honestly, I don't want to decide it.
Well, let's give it to Triton, because we almost gave it to Triton last week, and he lost out to Etney because Etney drove a flawless race. So this time, let's give it to Triton, because it was a great drive up to P4 there, and as you said, starting 14th, he had fantastic pace all the way through the race. Honourable mention as well, Michael, despite throwing it off the road when he was P4, did manage to finish P5, so excellent result for the Williams driver. So Triton is our driver of the day, I think, unless you particularly disagree, Thimo.
No, I don't. I wouldn't have brought him up.
So Triton is the official driver of the day for this one. Next on this channel, following this immediately, in fact, we have Endurance Racing. It's me and Revo and Bantz racing.
Wait, really? Oh.
Yeah. We're going to put it on this channel. Revo's streaming on his own channel for now, and then it's going to be on this channel straight afterwards. So the 6 hours of Sebring on iRacing. So join us for that if you can. But for this race, that is the end of our broadcast. Any final thoughts, Thimo?
You know, last time was the first time I've had that.
And I didn't say it last time, so I thought I'd surprise you this time.
I thought we were done with this. So my final thoughts are: Terra is deeply evil and purely evil. That's what I wanted to say.
That's a good final thought. That's the persona I try to project. So yeah, fantastic.
You managed it. Thanks for nothing.
Thanks everyone for watching. We'll catch you next time.
See you later.